added to the cell theory and said that cells arise from pre-existing cells. All cells come from pre-existing cell. So cell theory basically consisted of three principles. What were they? The questions is this question is generally asked in the exam. Okay, so you have to prepare this one. What were the three principles of cell theory propounded by Sheldon and Schwann and then later modified by Rudolf Virchow?
So cell is produced by pre-cell.
Cell is produced by?
Pre-cell.
Cells arise from pre-existing cells. Okay.
Yes.
Then?
And
all living things are made up of cell?
yes.
Right now. And then? Cells are basic units of the structure and function in living organisms. Right? These were the three principles. Okay.
Yes.
Then we also talked about the varieties of different varieties of cells on the basis of their shape, size, and number. Right now. So on the basis of number, what are the two classification of cells?
So unicellular and multicellular.
And multicellular. Okay. Can you name some of the unicellular organisms?
Then amoeba.
Amoeba.
And yes, sir.
Paramecium. What is the name? Paramecium. Very good. Okay. Okay. You can add one more example. Yeast is also a unicellular organism. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are these organisms capable of performing all the basic life functions? The time is already 3:39. Now, why others hasn't joined? Okay, Arham will not join today. Okay, I just received the information. He won't be joining today. Anyways, but still we will continue today. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move ahead. We talked about the types of cells like prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Okay, moments ago I was talking about the basis on shape, size, and number. Right now, okay, on the basis of shape, what are the different types of shapes that we also studied about, and we also had a look at some of the examples now, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me revise the examples which I gave you. Okay, for example, take example of red blood cells or white blood cells. Right now, red blood cells particularly, they are what is the shape? They are basically round in shape now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Blood cells are particularly red blood cells, they are round. Yeah, so you have to summarize it and write it in a bracket. I have here it's been pretty much mixed here, but you need to organize it. Okay, so red blood cells, the shape of the red blood cells is round. Getting it? Then you see the muscle cells, smooth muscle cells, they are elongated now.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you were to look at the cheek cells, the cells of our cheek, they are flat. Okay. So on what basis, on what factor does the shape of particular cell varies? On what factor is basically depends upon?
Yes, sir.
No, Mike, that's a question. On what factor it depends? The shape of the cell, on what factor it depends?
Cell function.
Function basically that is performed by it, right now. Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you were to increase the order of complexity in multicellular organisms, what is the order of complexity there? Like cells organized together to form tissues, and then tissues further specialized together to form organs, then organ system, and then organism. Right now. Okay, and please do tell me what were the three major functional structures present inside us present inside in every living cell. Earlier we talked about them, like nucleus is there,
And
There are
cytoplasm
cytoplasm, and then
and the mitochondria.
no, that's different thing. We are talking about some of the major structures present in every living cell. You had cell membrane also now.
So,
Where's the
but you
slide?
said
Let me show
that
you.
cell membrane is only present in plant cells.
No. Cell wall is present only in plant cells. That's a different thing. If you were to look at plant cells and animal cells. Let's see if I have got the diagram here. Look, let's say this is an animal cell over here, and this is a plant cell. So plant cell and animal cell, both of them have got one thing common in them, that both of them have got cell membrane. And cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane. Yeah, that is also called as plasma membrane. But there was another layer, one extra layer around the plant cell, that is called a cell wall. Right now, so don't get confused between the two.
Okay.
This is cell wall, and this here is plasma membrane or cell membrane. Basically, both are same things, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So three structural functions. The question might be asked. Remember, the three structures present in every living cell is cytoplasm, nucleus, and plasma membrane. Okay, plasma
Yes,
membrane,
sir.
we already in fact talked about it. It is what? It is simply a semi-permeable membrane and the outermost covering of the cell. In case of
Yes,
animals,
sir.
that basically separates the inner contents of cells, one cell from another cell, and from the existing surrounding also, from their surrounding also, right now. And it will basically allow some of the materials to pass through it and restrict some of the materials. Getting it? Okay. So where will be it present? It will be present in all of the organism. Basically, it will be found in animal cells, in plant cells, and in fact in bacterial cells also. Plasma membrane or cell membrane is found. Is the point clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me add one more point. Found in animal cell, plant cell, and bacterial cell as well. Okay, good. Okay, and Arhan, I haven't been receiving regular assignments from your side. Why is it so? Mhm. Yes, Arhan, I'm not getting assignments from your side regularly. Did you send the assignment? Did you send the assignment of the previous class?
No, sir. Not almost finished.
No. Please try to send the assignments on time, and also try to keep your camera on during the class. Okay, that is mandatory. Yeah. If the
Okay, sir.
issue is resolved, it's better to keep your camera on in the class, right? Otherwise, I won't
Okay,
get
sir.
to see whether you are attentive with the class or like you're involved in other activities also. Getting it what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we also talked about cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Mhm.
The jelly-like substance present in
It's
between the cell membrane and nucleus.
exactly, and all the other components of the cell are floating in it, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Now we also talked about cell wall also. So what are the functions of cell wall? Hmm? Yes, Arhan. Mhm.
The plant can withstand high winds and
Hmm.
high velocity.
Temperature,
Yes, sir.
cool, because of a rigid protective cell wall present on the outer side of the cell membrane, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the question is that, is the cell wall living or non-living? Yeah. Is cell wall
The non-living.
exactly. Very good. Right. So the bark of the tree which you see, It is basically cell wall. Right now, it is due to the accumulation of dead cell walls. Right now.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So it is non-living. And another question is it a selective permeable structure or not, or free permeable structure? Another question is it freely permeable? What does it mean? That will it allow any substance to pass through it? Huh?
No,
Yeah.
sir, it will allow some.
No. It is freely permeable.
Yes, sir.
Look how it happens here. This is, let's say, cell membrane. Okay. And there's another layer over it. Let's say this is cell wall. The cell wall is freely permeable, but cell membrane or the plasma membrane, as we know, it is not freely permeable. It is selectively permeable only. It allows only certain materials to pass through itself. So cell wall, it will allow any component to pass through it. Getting it? By any component, we
Yes,
don't
sir.
mean any insect. We mean microscopic substances. That will be allowed to pass, but it's up to the cell membrane to whether allow it inside the cell or not. Okay, and talking chemically, what is the component cell wall is made up of? Let's get quickly done with the revision, then we have to start new things also in today's class. So is it made up of starch, cellulose? Which of the two it is made up of?
The cellulose.
Cellulose, very good. Now, few more things that we basically missed in the last class, like you have got fungus such as mushrooms. Fungus such
Yes, sir.
as mushrooms. Very surprisingly, they also have got cell wall. They also have cell wall. But the difference is that the cell wall, sorry, the cell wall of plants, it is made up of cellulose. But the cell wall of mushroom, it is made up of another chemical compound called as chitin. Okay. If you like, you can remember it. If you like, you can leave it. It's up to you. Getting it? So a bit extra thing
Yes, sir.
about it right now. Okay. Okay. So one more thing, as we talked about here, that cell wall is freely permeable, and since it's freely permeable and since it is dead, it has got nothing to do with the movement of molecules. Movement, it has no direct effect on movement of molecules into or outside of the cell. It's simply like a cloth. It's simply like a very fine cloth through which air molecules can pass. Getting it? It can be
Yes, sir.
understood it like this. So it has no control on the movement of the particles, right? Okay. In your higher class, you will get to know that the cell walls are also further divided into two types. For the moment, we can leave it. So functions of the cell wall, we are aware of it. Now then, we also talked about cell organelles. Yeah, we talked about cell organelles as well. Yes, Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Okay, Ahmed has joined. Let him
Yes, sir.
join with. Ahmed, where have you been?
Sorry, sir.
No. There's no need to say sorry. Okay, we are not doing the chapter cell.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So we are doing the chapter cell, and so far the basic things about the chapter has been completed. We are talking about the organelles of the cell in today's class right now.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. So for the previous part of the class, you can watch the lecture. You can watch the recording. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
Got
we
it.
are continuing with the cell organelle right now. So guys, we were talking about cell organelles. In the cell organelles, we started our discussion with nucleus. Okay, so nucleus, what do we know about nucleus? It is generally a spherical structure located in the center of the cell. Generally it's in the center, but in some cases it might be at the side of the cell also, in the corner of the cell also. And one more thing, who was the scientist who discovered nucleus? It was Robert Brown, not Robert Hooke. Don't get confused with Robert Hooke. So Robert Brown in the year 1831 discovered nucleus. Right now?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So nucleus, you will see, it also is made up of certain other parts also. Like what? You wait to see. The nuclear also has got an envelope over it
Yes, sir.
that we call as
Nuclear.
nuclear
Nuclear.
nuclear membrane. Okay. Ahmed, just
Okay.
quickly read this paragraph. Quickly read this paragraph.
Uh, okay, sir. Nucleus. It is generally spherical and located in the center of the cell. The nucleus is separated from the cryptoplasm by a membrane called the nucleus.
Nuclear
Nuclear.
membrane.
Nuclear membrane. Sorry, sir. It uses information in the chromosomes to decide what each organelle should do and the function of the cell. The nucleus contains an even smaller concentrated material called nucleus.
Okay. So here's the thing about the nucleus. Okay, I'm drawing it on the other slide. I will erase it later. Okay, look, see here. This is your nucleus. Forget about the chromosome for the moment. This is your nucleus. Okay. Where have we taken this nucleus from? We have taken it out from the center of the cell. So this is the nucleus we're talking about here. Right. So nucleus will also have its own boundary. Like our bodies have got organs, so cells have also got an organ. So we are talking about one of the organ of a cell, that is nucleus, right? So it will also have a boundary that will be called as nuclear membrane. Now in the center of the nucleus also you will see there's a structure called as nucleolus. Getting it? So there will be another mass inside it that is very concentrated, that is called as nucleolus. Getting it? Then what does it consist of? Huh? Here it says that
The chromosome.
it consists of chromosomes. So this nucleus we are talking about, it also consists of chromosomes, and it is the chromosome that decides how each organ should do their functions, how they should be performing their functions. Right now,
Yes, sir.
okay. And there's one more thing present being done by the nucleus. Like it also carries the hereditary information. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there was one more thing, guys. Like nucleoplasm. Is it been mentioned here? No. Nucleoplasm is also there. It's mentioned over here. Yeah. So nucleoplasm, what does it? Hmm? Like now, as we have discussed earlier, like this is a cell, this is its nucleus. Now in between the nucleus and in between the cell membrane, there's a fluid that we call as what? Cytoplasm, right?
The nucleoplasm.
No, cytoplasm here. We're talking about cytoplasm. This is your nucleus here. This is your cell membrane. In between that, cytoplasm exists. In the same manner, if you were to look at a nucleus, this is a nucleus over here. And in that nucleus also, there's a center mass called as nucleolus. So in between the nucleolus and in between the nuclear membrane, there's another fluid, the very dense fluid, that is called as nucleoplasm. Getting it? Is it getting clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the question is that what is nucleoplasm? It is a dense fluid present between nucleolus and nuclear membrane. So in your notes, add this point as well. Okay, just let me quickly keep my pen on charge. Meanwhile, we will keep our discussion on. Okay. Okay, just give me a moment. Yeah. So we were talking about nucleus, right? Is Ahmed back or not? He's still not back. Okay, okay. Now moving on, let's talk about chromosome in today's class
No,
then.
sir.
Right now. Okay. Any confusion in nucleus? Like the points which I've written here, just memorize them.
No, sir.
Okay, good.
Okay, sir.
Now talking about chromosome, what is chromosome actually? So chromosomes, it is what we know. It is basically the thread-like structures present inside the nucleus. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you were to have a look at this thing over here, see, this is your cell. All right. Let's say this is a nucleus over here. Okay. Inside this, you have got nucleolus, right? And here you will see there are thread-like structures like this. These thread-like structures are called as chromosomes. Or do we call them as chromosomes? Getting it over
Yes,
here,
sir.
right? So these are basically chromosomes. So they are basically carrying the genes, and genes in our previous classes also we have studied, particularly in the chapter reproduction. They help in the
Yes, sir.
inheritance of or transfer of characters from the parents to the offsprings. Like if parents have got brown eyes or curly hairs, so these traits might get transferred from them to their offspring. Right now, chromosomes
Yes,
are actually composed of DNA in the form of chromatin and protein. Getting it? So here this thread-like structures which you are seeing over here now. See this next diagram over here or not? Yeah. We will come to DNA in a
yes,
moment
sir.
here. Okay. So these thread-like structures which you are seeing here, that is chromosome. And these chromosomes, they carry gene on them. So if you were to have a look at the chromosome over here, right? So they will be carrying some genes in them. So they carry genes, and genes, their function, we are already aware of it by now, right?
Yes, sir.
And the chromosomes are also made up of DNA in the form of chromatin and protein. And later on, you see the chromosomes contain information for the inheritance of future from parent to next generation in the form of DNA molecules. Now, it might be a little bit confusing here, but let me simplify it for you guys here. What is basically happening here? Look, see this diagram. It will become more clear. What is DNA here? DNA is basically a double helix-like structure, as you can see here. DNA molecules contain the information necessary for construction and organization of cells. And
Yes, sir.
and functional segments of DNA are called genes. Now, what is this? We are talking about genes, we are talking about DNA, we are talking about chromosomes, where the positions are in the cell. It might look a little bit confusing. Now, let me simplify it further for you guys here. This is your nucleus. Yeah. And here in the center, this is nucleolus.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, around this nucleolus, there are thread-like structures.
Chromosomes.
Yeah. There are thread-like structures. So you will see here, rather than calling them chromosomes for the moment, if you were to look at this slide here, we say that chromosomes now are composed of DNA. They are basically made up of DNA. So here we are saying that let's call it DNA. We know it is chromosome, but we know that chromosomes are made up of DNA. So we are calling it to be DNA here, right now. So chromosomes are made up of DNA. So where is this DNA and chromosome we are talking about? It is inside the nucleus.
Nucleus.
Nucleus, not nucleolus. Getting it? Now
Yes.
again, further we said that this chromosome consists of hereditary information in the form of gene. What does
Yes,
it
sir.
says? Chromosome contain information for the inheritance of features from parents to next generation in the form of DNA molecules. So the information lies inside the DNA. Say, let's say, let's say this my hand is DNA. Let's say this is DNA. All right. And the chromosome is made up of the DNA. All right. Chromosomes are composed of the DNA. That is basically my hand. And if I were to take out sections out of my hand, let's make some sections in my hand. Each section will be called as gene here. Look at here, guys. Look at here. Aren't you seeing? Can't you guys see some sections here, like this section? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
See? So
Yes,
these
sir.
are basically sections made in the DNA that is simply called as gene. Hmm? So functional
Yes, sir.
segments of DNA has been called as gene. Is it clear? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Getting it. So genes
Yes,
are
sir.
the functional unit of inheritance as well, and it is basically segments of DNA right now. Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any confusions? Okay.
No, sir.
Now, shall we move ahead then?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so let me quickly summarize it as well here. That chromosomes that we talked about just now, it is made up of what?
The DNA.
DNA, right now. And DNA somewhat looks like this. The structure of the DNA molecule looks like this. And you take
Yes, sir.
and you take out segments out of it, make segments out of it. That will basically be called as gene right now. So earlier also in the
Yes, sir.
chapter reproduction in plants and humans, we talked about the traits, that characters that transfer from the parents to their offspring right now. Hmm. So that was basically like the person that has got if the person is able to tongue his role right now, or the person has got brown hair, brown eyes, curly hair, the person is long or short. So all those traits, those informations are basically present inside this gene. Hope that is clear to both of you.
Yes, sir. It is clear.
Oh, okay. With proper information, you will be able to retain this information right now. Okay, now let's move on to other cell organelles right now. So, what are the other cell organelles? Like you have got endoplasmic reticulum. Yeah. Then you have got what? You have got Golgi apparatus. Then you have got vacuoles. So, what are the functions of these cell organelles? They have also got some functions. They are not useless inside the cell. Yeah. So talking about the vacuoles, what are
Yes,
vacuoles?
sir.
Like we all have got storehouses in our home right now. So that are used for a variety of purposes. The common thing is that they are used for storing of some substances, useless substances
Yes,
right
sir.
now. Mm.
Yes, sir.
So in plant cell or in animal cells, you will see it is found in both plant cells and animal cells, and they are storage bubbles of irregular shapes which are found in cells. What does it say? Storage bubbles. So it might be no Ahmed and Arhan, it might be used for storing various substances. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what are the
So you
various
told us.
substances it might be stored? Yeah. I told you guys about this one. So the vacuoles stores the food, a variety of nutrients that a cell might need to survive or waste right now.
Yes,
Okay. So in plant cells, you will see the size of vacuoles are much larger than the animal cells. Hence, they provide rigidity to the plant cells. So if you were to look at a plant cell here, all right, let's say this is a plant cell having cell wall and having plasma membrane both. Yeah. So in this, the vacuoles will be larger. Right now, this is vacuole over here. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and the nucleus will be somewhere in the corner. So in the plant cells, you will see the vacuoles size are larger. Hence, it provides rigidity to them. Getting it? Now look at
Yes,
this
sir.
a detailed diagram here. Yeah. So that is a diagram of a plant cell, Ahmed. I know. And then you see the size. Just look at the size of this vacuole. Hmm.
Yes,
Isn't
sir.
it quite large than the other organelles? Look at the
Yes,
other
sir.
organelles presented. It's pretty big, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that
It
is
is, sir.
about it. Just remember its function. Like it is serves as storage bubbles. It can serve food. It can serve different amounts of nutrients in it, and it can also it also provides rigidity and strength to the plant cells. And the size is larger in plant cells while it's smaller and few in animal cells. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Then we come to another body present inside cell, that is called as Golgi apparatus. So what is this Golgi apparatus now? Look, this Golgi apparatus that we are talking about, it is also a membrane bound structure. Like Ahmed, earlier now, while
Yes.
we're not in the class, we talked about the cells. Like millions of years ago, the cells that were found millions of years ago, they were very
Oh,
simple. Right now, they were very simple. The body part was very simple. Nowadays, the cells have evolved. So earlier, what did we call the cells? Huh? Arhan, do tell me.
Sir, cells.
Cells, that was a different thing. No, that was a Latin name of the cell. Prokaryotes, no. Prokaryotes. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Nowadays, the modern cell is called as eukaryotes.
Yes, sir.
So the cells that we are discussing in this class, they are basically eukaryotes.
eukaryotes.
So yeah. So the prokaryotes, which were the let me write this here. Primitive cells or the early cells. Okay, otherwise you might forget it. So primitive cells. So in them, they also had organelles, right? Now they also had organelles. Okay, but there was no boundary in the organelles. They had no boundary. So we said that they had got no membrane in them. No membranes.
Yes,
Getting it?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But later on in the eukaryotes, you see the organelles that are found inside the eukaryotic cells, they are also membrane bounded, meaning that they also had membrane. Getting it, Ahmed and Arhan?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
I
Yes,
am
sir.
getting it.
Okay. Now coming back to our discussion, that is Golgi apparatus. So this is also a membrane bound structure in the stacks of cisternae. Cistern. See here if this is visible or not here.
Sir,
See.
it is.
So this structure which you are seeing, let me highlight it with a different pen. Yeah, these structures which you are seeing like this. It looks like you have got several chapatis and you have stacked it. हाँ, isn't it? ऐसा लगता है हमने several chapatis को लिया and उसे stack कर दिया. Right now. So
Yes, sir.
so this structure which you see here, that is called as cisternae. Right. So that's why
Oh,
we say that it is a structure in the form of stacks of cisternae. The stacks of cisternae. Huh? Ahmed Arhan, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. It is.
Okay. So on the sides of cisternae, you will see there are small fluid-like structure present, which are called as secretory vessels. Secretory vesicles. See, I am talking about this. ये छोटे-छोटे bubbles जो आपको दिख रहे हैं, right now.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, how can you identify it? The colors are same.
The colors of what? Cisternae.
Yes, sir. The
Okay, no, no, no.
bubbles are same.
Bubbles. It will be usually same. The colors will be usually same, but it is not directly attached to the body of the Golgi apparatus. See, it is present on the sides of the cistern. Right now, here it is present. Here it is present. Getting it? So these are called
Okay.
as secretory vesicles. Getting it? Okay,
Yes.
just remember the names. Now, talking about what is the function of Golgi body here. Hmm? Look
Sir,
here. Mhm.
that
Yeah,
to provide protein.
exactly. So it is basically responsible for taking the proteins which are created by ribosomes. That is another thing which we will discuss in a moment. What is ribosome? We will come to that. But for the moment, just understand that it is responsible for taking the proteins which are created by the ribosomes and then making them bigger and better. So proteins, it is being prepared by ribosome. Please don't get confused. Just for the moment, remember this term. Okay. No need to remember the secretory vesicle. You can forget it. No issue. But remember this name, ribosome. Okay. But ये term आप मत भूलना. The sister name. In the definition, it will help you. You can simply call it to be that Golgi apparatus are membrane bound structures, and it appears in the form of stacks of cistern. Getting it? Okay, so जो हमने बात
Yes.
की is coming back to it. So proteins are prepared by ribosomes, and what does this Golgi body do? Golgi apparatus, what does it do? It basically takes up the protein prepared by the ribosome and makes them bigger and better. Okay. So now,
Yes,
when
sir.
this Golgi body is done with its work, it will release the new protein into the cell, where the cells will use it to get strength and build up, basically. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So as it says here, these modified proteins are placed in Golgi so that they can transport elsewhere in the cell wherever it is required. So the main function of Golgi bodies, Ahmad and Arhan, it is simply to modify the proteins. Remember it.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Hmm.
yes, sir.
Okay, and it is a membrane bound nucleus. Okay, with this much of discussion, let's move ahead then. Now, another structure here is endoplasmic reticulum. What is this endoplasmic reticulum now? Hmm? It is not. It is not simply a transport system. Hmm? Endoplasmic reticulum is simply a transport system of the cell. Getting it? Like
Yes,
just
sir.
like our body, it has got transport system like via the blood nerves, the transport takes place. Via the nerve cell, the transport of messages take place from our brain to various parts of the body and back to the brain from various parts of the body. In the same manner, no. In the same manner, our cell has also got a transport system. So it is simply transport system of the cell. Now, सवाल ये है, the question is that transport of what? Ahmed and Arhan?
Sir, the movement of cell.
No, it transports what? The question is, what does it transports? Not the movement of cell. Hmm? It now basically transports chemicals between cells, between two cells and within the cells. Yeah, getting it, guys? So it transports
Yes.
chemicals outside plus inside the cell as well. Yeah. Okay, so far everything's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and also you will see it will provide a pretty much large surface area for chemical reaction to take place. Like the chemical reactions you cell के inside हो रहे हैं, those chemical reactions, for those chemical reactions to happen, it will provide a surface area. Getting it? Hmm? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, where will be it be found? Will it be found in prokaryotic cell?
So eukaryotic.
Only eukaryotic, not in prokaryotic right now. Now, later
Yes,
on,
sir.
you will see that the endoplasmic reticulum has also been divided into two parts. There's a rough endoplasmic reticulum. There's a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now the question is, what are these two terms now? Huh? Rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. And then you had SER, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so look at the diagram over here, guys. Hmm? Just pay a close attention here. Which structure we are talking about? Smooth
Rough.
endoplasmic reticulum. We will talk about both of them here. Getting it here. Now, Ahmed and Arhan, first
Yes,
look
sir.
at this diagram over here, which I'm highlighting. Just look at this. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
This diagram,
Rough endoplasmic.
no, this whole diagram, it is of endoplasmic reticulum, right?
Yes, sir.
And further, no, endoplasmic reticulum has been divided into smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum, right now.
Yes, sir.
अब आप दोनों देखो यहाँ पर what is happening here. If you were to look at this much part, look at this much part.
Yeah.
Are they having dot-like structures on them?
Yes, sir.
No, this much here.
No, sir.
This
No,
part.
sir.
No, no, sir. No, sir.
No.
Only the rough endoplasmic reticulum.
Exactly. Now the question is now, look at this one more term written here, ribosomes. So
Yes,
those
sir.
dot-like structures present on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it is nothing but the ribosomes. And moments ago हमने बात की that ribosomes produces what? It produces
The protein.
proteins, ना? है ना, Ahmed, Arhan?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yes, sir.
it produces protein, guys. Getting it? So that
Yes,
part
sir.
of the endoplasmic reticulum on which ribosome is present, it will be called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. It looks rough now, right? While
Yes, sir.
that part which will lack it, that will be called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Isn't it, Ahmed? Getting it? So that much thing you guys need to know about endoplasmic reticulum right now. So it is simply a system of membranous tubules and sacs here right now. Or simply we can say that, yeah, we can say that it is simply a uh, membranous tubules and sacs. So look at the diagram over here. These are basically tubules right now. This is a cross section of the
Yes,
diagram.
sir.
That's why it might not be looking like a tubule, but it is simply a membranous tubules right now. Okay, so membranous tubules. So and this organelle will also be having membrane right now, since we are talking about eukaryotic cells. So almost all the
Yes, sir.
organelles have got membrane in them. Getting it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the functions we have already discussed this one. It basically acts as transport system of the cells. So it will be basically helping in transport of chemicals between the two cells and inside the cells as well. Right?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay then. Now let's move ahead then. Now, there's another organ called as mitochondria or the powerhouse of the cell. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What
sir.
is this? Uh-huh.
So it's provided energy because
Hmm.
it's known as the powerhouse of the cell.
Obviously, the name itself speaks right now.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, look at the diagram over here. If it's here, okay, this basically mitochondria we're talking about. It is actually, that's a cartoon image here basically. But if you were to look at the actual image is something like this. It looks like a rod-shaped cell. Remember, the shape of the cells are also different. Some are spherical, some are
Yes, sir.
elongated, some are
Yes, sir.
striated. So this is
The
a
round.
rod shaped structure. Getting it now? No, it is like this, and somewhat inside of it is organized like this. Right. So that is basically mitochondria over here. And it is also a membrane bound structure. Getting it? So
Yes, sir.
mitochondria are basically rod shaped structures with membrane. But the interesting part about is that there is two membrane. So far हमने जितनी भी organs के बारे में बात की, they have got only single membrane, but this mitochondria has got two membranes around its body. Remember this very important fact about mitochondria, guys. Getting it? So first two things we
Yes,
know,
sir.
it's a rod shaped structure. It's having a rod shaped structure, and there are two membranes outside it. Getting it?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
sir.
we are not
Yes,
going
sir.
into depth. We are not going into depth about the two membranes. Just know they have got two membranes. Getting it? Okay, now talking about the functions of mitochondria. What are the functions that it performs and why it's called a powerhouse? Hmm?
Since it provides energy to the cell.
Energy to the cell. And where does the cell get energy from? From which process it gets energy? From respiration now. Cells भी respire करती हैं, right? So mitochondria, we
Yes,
will
sir.
see it that mitochondria, they are sites of respiration in the cell, right now. So जो respirations होती हैं cells के अंदर, it is on the mitochondria. And what happens in respiration? Energy from organic compound which we eat are transferred to ATP. So जो भी foods हमने ली, for example, you take glucose plus oxygen will give you energy. Now energy की ये ATP unit है. ATP here is basically the unit of energy. Getting it, guys?
Yes, sir.
So whatever
Yes, sir.
food goes to the cell, it is broken down in the presence of oxygen. This glucose here is basically food, and certain energy is given out. Ahmed and Arhan, getting it, guys? So we
Yes,
can
sir.
also say that these are sites of respiration, and we can also say that it is the site of synthesis of ATP. Synthesis
Yes, sir.
basically means production of ATP.
Anything.
Yeah, it is also called as site of synthesis of ATP. Getting it? So ATP क्यों हमने कहा site है ये synthesis? It is why we are calling it synthesis, site of synthesis of ATP. ATP here is nothing but the unit in which the energy produced is measured. Like energy,
Yes,
we
sir.
measure it joule, right now. Different types of energy, we have got different units to measure it. So in the same
Yes,
manner,
sir.
the energy that is produced, it is measured in ATP. Getting it? Okay. So how this mitochondria is able to perform respiration? Because it consists of several enzymes which helps in the respiration, and hence energy is released. So it will be having certain enzymes inside it. Getting it, guys? Okay, and
Yes,
this
sir.
ATP that is produced during the cellular respiration, or simply the respiration inside the cell, that is being used by the body to carry out various functions. So the energy I am getting to speak, the energy you are getting to sit there and listen to me, it is all due to this mitochondria. Getting it? Hmm. So basically, a cellular respiration, if I were to summarize it, what happens inside the cell, cellular respiration at mitochondria, how it basically takes place, guys. You take food, getting it, and it reacts with oxygen. Then carbon dioxide is also released, water is also released. Apart from that, energy was also released.
Yes,
That
sir.
is in the form of ATP. Okay,
Yes,
Ahmed and
sir.
Arhan.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now you will see that certain cells now have got more energy requirement. Yeah. Like muscle cells, like the heart
Yes, sir.
cells. Heart cells, they have to continuously pump blood now, so they need to have much more energy. Yeah.
Yes,
Like
sir.
like the liver. Getting it? These are organs. The cells of these organs will be requiring much more energy. So you will see that the cells of liver, cells of heart, they will be requiring much more amount of mitochondria. Even our muscle cells, they will have slightly more amount of mitochondria than the those cells. For example, the cells of bone, right? The cells of hair,
Yes,
they
sir.
will have lesser amount of mitochondria in them. Getting it, Ahmed and Arhan? Is it confusing to you?
Yes, sir.
Is
Yes,
it
sir.
confusing?
I'm getting. No, sir. No, sir.
Oh,
No, sir,
okay.
it's
What
not
about you,
confusing.
Ahmed?
It's
Getting
not
it?
confusing, sir.
Okay, okay. So also further, we see. Yeah, it's not working. The pen is not working. Sorry about that. Look, mitochondria hai na, we can also call it as energy currency. Energy currency. Getting it? So it is a unit. Okay. And the most of the cells uses it as energy currency. Just like we have got currency, we can say it to be energy currency. Getting it, guys? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
any confusion regarding mitochondria?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I have got an interesting diagram here for you guys. Okay. Let's see if we get to understand few things from here. Like see here, this red one, that is nucleus, that is very angry, looking very angry here. Hmm. He says that everyone do what I say. Everyone has to do it. This nucleus is saying to all the other organelles to follow my commands, because nucleus, we know, it is the brain house of the cell. It will command every action right now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now there are other organelles here. There are other organelles. For example, endoplasmic reticulum, what does it says? You guys be quiet, I have so much work to do right now. So endoplasmic reticulum, it has got several works to do. What are the works? Quickly, do tell me. Mhm. This,
Endoplasm reticulum.
yeah.
Sir, there are two types of endoplasm reticulum, rough endoculum and
No, no, that I'm not talking about.
smooth.
Those are the classification of ER, SER and RER. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. The function, it acts as transport system of the cell now. It transports
Yes,
chemical
sir. Yes,
inside the
sir.
cell and outside the cell now.
Yes, sir.
Right
Yes,
now.
sir. It's also transport ribosomes.
Yeah. Not transport, it basically carries ribosome.
Yes, sir.
Getting it? Okay, then this Golgi apparatus is saying that I need a break. Yeah. So it has also got some functions like it takes up the protein which
Yes,
is
sir.
created by the
And
ribosome
modified this.
and modifies it, makes it better and bigger. So this is also busy
Yes.
here. Getting it? Lysosome, we will be discussing about it, lysosome, in the next class. So here it says that everything I touch, I destroy. So basically, it is responsible for destroying dead components present inside the cell. Right now,
Yes,
vacuole,
sir.
what does it says? I feel quite fulfilled, because it is acting as a storage bubble, as a storage house. And normally in our
Yes, sir.
houses, the storage houses are completely full of things we might use or we might not use. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now later on, now you guys will see that this nucleus is commanding to the mitochondria to follow it, to do as per it. But in higher classes, you will get to know that mitochondria has also got its own, what do I
Uh,
say?
Command.
Yeah, it has also got some amount of command right now. That's why it says, haha, no, I will not be following you. Getting it, guys? Okay, so we will continue with from next class. Few organelles are left, like plastids are left. We will be discussing that in next class. Okay. All right, guys. Then that's it for today. We will meet in next class then.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
sir.
Okay.
sir.
Ahmad, any confusions regarding the class?
No, sir. But yes, few confusion because I have missed a bit
Mhm.
of the chapter, sir.
Okay, do one thing now, just revise from the
The
recordings.
okay, sir.
Okay. And if there's any need, we can have a backup or extra class. Getting
Sure,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right, then. Allah Hafiz, guys.
Okay,
Allah
love,
Hafiz,
sir.
sir.
Allah Hafiz.